anyone, welcome everyone. If anyone would like to grab a cookie, snack of any sort before we get started. Also grab this.
any Girl Scout cookies?
I'm fine for the moment.
What's your
Thank
favorite?
thank you. Oh, God. The one in the middle, what is that, the Simone?
Yeah.
Back in the day, when I was a kid, my favorite.
The light.
Yeah.
Well, my kids are like, you.
We like, for me.
We both need to save up enough. $12 to have lunch and snack with Mr. Haynes. We could both ask him if he wants Girl Scout.
Kindergartners are like a staple right now. We have one week.
It's better be our only humor.
Looks like it. Hi, Mrs. Benamy.
Hi,
We're offering you a virtual Girl Scout cookie.
I'll take all of them.
Thank you everyone for coming. Our agenda for the night, will be welcome introductions. Vote to approve the January minutes, have an update from Mr. Heine, an update from the Academy, 2 committee updates, specifically Read Across America, Student Night Teacher Appreciation, 5th grade, May Fair, anything else that may come up. On old business, we just wanted to revisit this conversation around the playground committee. Not a big update there. Our expectations on that. New business, just want to start talking about executive committee elections. And then to the term, unless anybody has anything about that. At the top here, does anybody have anything to add? Feel free to. So we'll start with introductions. If you just say your name.
And your favorite thing?
Picture Aiden and Jordan, kindergarten and 2nd grade, tag along.
Leah, Calvin, Audrey, kindergarten, 2nd and 3rd, and your favorite is the lemon. I'm Clary, my son's in 1st grade, and cinnamon. I'm Erica, my son is Walker, he's in the children's class in 1st grade, and I'm scared to try the yeah, because I might.
It's hard to get.
So I have to go silly, nobody's not around.
Yeah. I haven't been able to. Heard of the raspberry has been like bigger. Yeah.
I wish there was a little bit more chocolate.
Can't wait.
So when you get it, it'd be very raspberry.
I can use those. And then Girl Scout cookies. And if you read them homemade one. Go off your tongue. Please.
I'm Vanessa, my daughter Charlotte.
Favorite Girl Scout cookie. This is one peanut butter sandwich with peanut butter patties.
That's a good one.
Tag alongs are like.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's, there's a favorite. Yeah.
So you're welcome. We didn't want to open the peanut ones in the library, because we know there's allergies and stuff, but I couldn't figure out what category was.
Sorry.
Category of something. I got it. Oh, yeah, sure. I'm Stephanie. I am dispersing treasurer. My son is Elliot in kindergarten. My daughter is Serafina in 3rd. And currently I don't have kids. I kind of like mom, but
I can't be the one that gives the chocolate.
because I love the s'mores.
There you go.
And I love the peanut butter patties, but we can't always eat them on the. That's the right of it. Strip and we eat peanut butter. You just wait, I'll tell you another story later. Not my
Saturdays, Jeffrey had a 2nd grader, and I think I like the title. You know,
They really are. it's delightful when you have fun. I'm Jessica. I used to love the tag alongs, but I'm relegated to the gluten-free chocolate chip caramels, but they're actually good. So they changed the formula because they didn't. Well, I never had them before, so. But it's the first year. I tried them again, and it said we did a new formula on them, and they. I'm Allison. Charlotte is my daughter. She's in first grade with Mrs. Martorelli. I have another one who's in third grade. And the other Charlotte is
You got it.
yeah, she's
Read
the
the
main
grade.
of that. Yeah, she's like, right on. Yeah, and well, that's Charlotte End, and she actually signs things to our family now, Charlotte End.
Sounds to me, like I don't know her, I
Yeah.
can't fair ask Charlotte.
Charlotte End, yeah, so,
Still Olivier.
yeah. Favorite, I think it's always gonna be Finland. I just always come back to it.
Yeah.
I just need to make a note, Mrs. Martorelli.
Tomorrow's class is the future of PTO.
Yeah, we all know Jaime, and he said his, Miss Vandy, do you wanna go?
Hi, I'm Mrs. Benamy. It's gotta be a toss up between caramel delights and thin mints. I think those are everyone's favorites.
My name is Jessica. I have 3 children. I have a 8th grader named Molly. I have a 5th grader named Martin, who's in Mrs. Jones's class, and a 3rd grader named Mitchell, who is in 3rd grade. Going very, very formal. Who is in
Mrs. Adams.
names, but I like got hung up on the teachers. And my favorite is the trefoil.
Well, it's used to be short.
Yeah. Wait, did they switch to bakers?
No, they just changed the name to the other one.
Okay. And I like that because if I get these, I get to eat them. Because nobody else in my family. gets to eat them.
I'm Julie. I have Nicholas and Peterson, who's in 5th grade, and Olivia, who's in, this is Dubois in 3rd grade, and Josie will be here in a couple years. April, probably. But, I'm happy with it, okay. But there was one that I did like, and it was a lemon one, but it almost looks like a wedding cookie.
Okay.
It had kind of a sugar on it. You remember that?
Yeah.
It was a lemon cooler.
Yeah, those are really good.
Those were good.
I'm Mike Stefanski, my kids in just started by the 4th grade, and I is in this, 2nd grade, and I think we're both 2 other times.
I am Sarah Hall. I have Emily in the CP class and Elsie in Mrs. Gray's class. And then I have a velvet thin mint and
Okay, Vivian is in 3rd grade, in the piano class. My favorite is always gonna be the summer delight. But my new favorite is the toast gang, because it's a terrible name. Don't say the text friend, so it's like cinnamon. So I think we should. No, the name's terrible.
This time I'm usually sure it's
I think you're
I keep changing it.
Yeah,
I have brothers, when I was a kid, I think, what do they call the guy in the red box, right? That's the one. As an adult, yeah.
You're Richard.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for being here. At this time, we'll accept the motion to approve January minutes.
I know.
Thank you. Second. All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Very good. All right, then, we will have a principal's update.
I'm surprised you don't have a green tea.
Well, I was really close, so during the school days on Fridays, I've been wearing a Brian Dawkins shirt. And yeah, that would have been today, except I had admin meeting. Yeah, it's just, I wasn't feeling it today, but Friday, I will certainly be in the jersey. That brings me to my first item. Hopefully you saw a picture, on the website today. I know they also tried to send out the news, and this was completely with staff. I was unable to attend, but the entire building went outside today in the spirit of, Eagles fever, and spelled out "Go Eagles." Did have a couple students in Chiefs, Burger Peaks. I heard that, and I said, I really hope everybody's kind words today. I believe everything went well, but the kids had a blast, the staff really had a blast. They went out back on the field first thing this morning and, took a picture, and, I have a video of it. If I can get it together, I might have that in class, or at least a picture, hopefully. So that was the first thing. So obviously the students are excited, and it's certainly been, a great few months here for sports and for the building, and between the Phillies and the Eagles, and certainly being a big fan of both, I really appreciate it. So I think everybody's having a great time with that. Hopefully it extends into next week. There are no plans, to my knowledge, of any 2-hour delay. Let me just state that. I do not make those decisions. I do not have any influence on those decisions, but at this moment. Yes, for sure. And that might be for shelters. So that's the first thing I have. I also have a lot of thank yous to PTO for helping make the MLK Day, the MLK Experience Day of Service, a really wonderful event, especially because it was the first time we've had this at the district level. And really the planning started kind of mid-November, and the PTOs came in, I want to say early December or late November. And we had the expectation of, it'll be a great event, we're gonna learn some things, we'll get better for the future. But we, the administrative group, were blown away by the participation level of our students, and also the attendance with an in-service deck attached to it. Obviously, families may have plans. I just anecdotally expected maybe 200 people, give or take. The auditorium was packed, which means it was probably close to 500 people. A lot of students performed, a lot of students participated. We had students who did homegrown poem, reciting the speech, and also some fifth graders did wax museum in the library, which is one thing I didn't get a chance to see, but fortunately I've seen them last year when they were doing it in 4th grade. So a lot of thank you to PTO for their effort. Our station where we did the blessing bags, we did 200 of them, and then we started to go out to do that. So this is a wonderful event. So thank you, not just PTO for their efforts, but also it really kind of came out that day. It was a great event, and again, first time we did it. So learn from what we did this year, what can get better, and looking forward to taking it into the future. Last week, it was great to see our winter concert, our band, our orchestra, select chorus, and 5th grade chorus. I will say I saw some 5th grade students who begrudgingly weren't always the most what's the word I'm looking for? Active participants during the practices, but as soon as they were up there in front of their families, I haven't seen anything like that in 3 months. I know Mrs. Irvin was thrilled with that. So they did a great job. All the performers, Mrs. Irvin, Mrs. Lombard, and a lot of the staff. The 5th grade team came out to help. Mr. B, I'm sure I'm going to forget someone. Specialist, Mrs. Benjamin, you were there, right?
Yes, I was. I was saying, you're forgetting me.
So I think we have more staff out for this one than we've had. So I think that's where I was going with that. But thank you to everyone who helped with that. Lockdown. Hopefully you saw my email the last few weeks. District wide, we did lockdowns across the district. We've been doing more drills this year anyway. We have a new safety team, district safety team, with a building safety team that meets monthly. And we just talk about arrival, we talk about dismissal, we talk about if we have a really angry individual on the property, like how do we handle those situations? So our next safety team is this Thursday, and gathered questions from kids and also from staff about different, what happens if we're in transit from one class to another in the bathroom, which I've had a few conversations about. So we learned some things. We practiced it during a lunch. Our 5th grade went into the kitchen. I went to all of the lunches, to make sure that all students know where they go. I did also talk about recess, but we will need to revisit that at recess because they need to say it as opposed to me saying. So we'll be doing that in the days ahead. But I just want to make sure everyone knows that, you know, it's not a one-off. We had the lockdown. We do have them a few times a year, but we're taking the questions and feedback and we're talking about it at the district level. I'm sorry, the building level and then to the district level. The district-wide focus that particular week, and I believe it was in my communication, really came from some of the lessons that were learned at the high school, in the high school a few weeks back. You know, some things are applicable directly to elementary, but there are some situations that are unique to secondary that would not necessarily translate. For example, switching of classes and taking attendance. I can share with all of you, we do some things here for attendance that is different than high school. The classroom teachers all have their roster on the back of their ID. So if we don't have a chance to grab our emergency folder, you know, teachers have their list with them, classroom teachers. So just wanted to kind of briefly go through that. As the updates come from the district, I'll pass them along, but I did put a couple of these resources in the e-lab, especially on the last one, just about how to talk to the children about these things. Kindergarten registration. If anyone needs to or knows someone, please have them register for kindergarten. We do have our kindergarten orientation coming up on March 1st at 7 p.m. There is language in the registration information about a lottery. I do not necessarily anticipate that we will need an AM versus PM lottery because I'm fairly certain we will have 4 sections, 2 AM and 2 PM. I can't guarantee it because the district always evaluates enrollment and staffing in the summer, but I have every reason to believe that we'll have 4 sections. And if we have 4 sections, that means I can more or less guarantee AM, but it always helps to get the registration taken early so the district doesn't look at numbers and say, whoa, NPE, you only have 45 students. So very important everyone gets registered for kindergarten. And that's all I have. Actually, so we've had some updates from, oh, sorry, I do. No school coming up Friday the 17th, I believe it is, and also Monday, February 20th. So, and just a couple personal experiences. Last couple weeks, I've had more opportunities to be in classrooms, specifically in 5th grade. 5th grade is on their persuasive writing. So if you have a 5th grader, next few weeks, you're going to be hearing a lot about persuasive writing, and the students always love that assignment. And also, I accompanied 5th grade to the middle school for the Shrek teaser. Really well done. Really, really thrilled to see former students up there. The middle school obviously put a lot of hard work into the play. It was great to see. It was great to see. I wish we could have seen more. We saw about a 35-40-minute clip of it, you know, for our students. And as I said, it was great to see our former students there.
I thought it was nice. Were all 3 schools there?
Correct.
Yeah, my son
Yes.
said, oh, you know, soccer kids from basketball. So I thought it was neat,
Yep.
you know, the 5th graders about to go
Yeah.
to the middle school, see the kids from the other schools
Yeah.
that they're gonna be there together with. So I thought that was a nice.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
really well done. Yeah, students were waving across and yeah, there was a lot of that. So it's very nice. Yeah. And that's my report for tonight. Anybody have any questions?
It was really fun to see the NPE. This is not one of these things that I was expecting about parenting, about like how much I would love to see other kids grow to size and money. And it was so much fun to see those 5th graders, like those kids that are my daughter's class up there, like, coming into their own as a young artist and everything, and seeing that growth and ferment. I'm so I cried like 10 times. And I'm like crying, and it's wreck.
They did.
Yeah.
They really did.
I just want to echo your words. And the speakers were amazing. Really,
Yeah.
well done, especially for the first time ever.
Yeah, thank you. And I've mentioned it a few times at PTO, but this year we have in each building cultural proficiency equity meetings. And we're having monthly read aloud resources pushed out to students. And it's not just the leaders that are doing this work, it's really the whole staff. We're being very intentional and thoughtful, to make sure that all of our students see themselves, not just on MLK Day, but see themselves reflected in literature, pictures around the building. I forgot one thing. We had a wonderful assembly last week, so thank you, PTO. Traditions of India, really well received, really did a great job. We have our largest minority group is Asian, but a large percentage of that are Indian families. And it was great to have a presentation for that. But also for MLK Day, like I said, we'll be very intentional about diversity and equity, and that was kind of, we want to do events not just for MLK Day. That's where I'm going with that. We want to an international night, hopefully moving forward across all three schools. So yeah, I thank you for that. And I echo it. It was really, there was a lot of stress right before that, I will say that, but everyone pulled it together. Yeah, thank you. Every time. Yeah. First time I saw them, my first year, I was.
That SRS, like second grade group?
Oh my God, that was so crazy.
The
man.
conviction.
They don't have to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like stage crew. I was like right there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Provide the introduction.
Yes, and I know we do start early in the year. She's coming back for the second time this year. But Mrs. Benamy, and for those of you who may not have known her or wasn't here the first time, Mrs. Benamy started with us.
Directly.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I don't want that. Right after we came back, hi, but that was, Mrs. Benamy was our art teacher, in-person art teacher in 2021, and she came back to the building stuff. She taught third grade, did a little bit of fourth grade for us, and in that short time, her infectious personality, positivity, resiliency, creativity really kind of showed through. And she was just such a wonderful asset that I couldn't wait to get the first chance to hire her and make her a permanent art teacher where she is now. And she has just continued the positive impact that she's had on our school and on our students. Most recently with the crochet club that is becoming a big hit for our students. So I have the pleasure of introducing Mrs. Benamy. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me again. I am unfortunately gonna be a little bit repetitive, but I think it's great because some of the events that have happened over the last couple of months have been really impactful on our school community. Specifically, I wanted to share about like I think a lot of what I'm going to share about today is coming a lot from the special areas perspectives, because that's my team and we share a lot of information. So, both of our instrument and our choral concerts went off. Like they were fantastic. If you were able to attend, they were wonderful. If you were able to attend, you also probably saw me weeping, because I just find children singing to be, I could cry now. I just find it to be very, very endearing. And also as the art teacher, whenever we have whole group choir practices, all special areas teachers attend, because we are wrangling the entire fifth grade to do a task that like they may not find to be the most exciting thing that they are doing. But we've shared a lot with these group of kids about how unfortunately like COVID really took away a lot of their ability to sing in groups, and that being able to sing from like a young age in groups and not feel like it's not cool is something that they haven't experienced. And now that they're in fifth grade and they're too cool for school, it's great to see them be able to like look back at how much they've practiced. And I just thought, especially the choir concert, it was wonderful to see these group of kids who really didn't have access to like any choral singing for the last 2 or 3 years really be able to perform. So I just wanted to share about that. And then additionally, we're already picking our music for the March or the spring concerts. Fourth grade select chorus has opened up. So if you have fourth graders who would like to sign up for select chorus, that registration is up. And you can contact Mrs. Urban if you need to. Just checking my notes. Also, I wanted to touch on the assembly, and like Mr. Heinley said, this year has really shown that we've, as staff, students, PTO, a community, we are doing our best to make sure our kids are seen in our hallways and in the curriculum and in what they're experiencing in school. The assembly that was put on by PTO was incredibly impactful, not just for students, but for staff. Like Mr. Heinley said, we have a very high Southeast Asian population, and just walking in the hallways after that, having students say like, this is my family's heritage, or people, there's students in their classrooms asking them, do you know anything more about that? That's so cool. Do you do that? I just think it was really beautiful to be able to see those students represented, and like we've talked about, continuing to make sure that all of our students feel that in their career at NPE. So that being said, we've also had other school spirit days going around, like when we did Red Ribbon Week, we had Crazy Hair Day recently, which was awesome, and kids really put a lot of effort into it. And it also made us come together as teachers to think about students who either there could be a language barrier for any sort of communication about. So making sure that if there are things that we're participating as a whole school, making sure that children have access to that. So for some of us, that meant just bringing extra hair ties so that students could do things. Or for me, I hot glued a bunch of pipe cleaners to bobby pins, and kids could have little bugs and things like that. So we've talked, some of the members of staff about trying to continue those spirit days, because it's so amazing to see the kids light up. And even though it can cause some chaos, it's really nice to see our community come together, even in these tiny little ways. I think they're really important. They're things that we're getting to have back again post, super restricted COVID. So we're going to continue to brainstorm some ideas about what we can do that's fully inclusive for all of our students, and making sure that it's accessible, and it's continuing to have our community celebrated, because it's awesome. What I'm going to go into next is about how amazing our Eagle celebrations has been. And I do think the students who don't even like the Eagles are still even the kind of rivalry is fun for them. And I grew up in Delaware County, so I remember the fight song being played on the announcements, and I've recently been the person holding my phone up and doing it into loudspeaker. And I'm like, wow, this is so I feel like a celebrity. It's so cool that I get to do this. So, the Eagles spirit has been amazing, and the kids, have been so excited. So we want to continue to do stuff, because even if they're going to win, but even if they lose, it was really nice to come together. And we were talking as a couple staff members about what if we could experience this type of camaraderie as an entire community a lot more. How could we access this? So I think just that would maybe be a great working point of PTO and teachers, of how we can continue doing celebratory community work where kids are really, really excited about being part of our community, and not just for football, because some people don't like sports too. But yeah, that's most of what I have. And then I also just wanted to share a little bit about something that's changing in my classroom. If you have students who are in 3, 4, 5, I'm gonna experiment with them for the next month and a half of an independent led project where I expose them to 5 or 6 different artists, and then they are choosing their art medium, because a lot of students have had interest in maybe things that wouldn't be tangible for 25 students at one time to do, like sculpture art with cardboard or things like that. So I'm really excited about this. I hope that your students come home and talk about their exploratory art program. And then one last thing for me is just Crochet Club has been very, very well. I might tear up. For those of you who have students who have joined, it has been so impactful to walk down the hallways and see like little trails of yarn, like as they're in the morning where they line up. And like, so how this is working is my sessions are 5 weeks at a time. And I have about 10 students in each session. And I'm in the midway. So my first session, they only have 2 weeks left for each, 4th grade and 5th grade. And yesterday's 5th grade session, I stood in the middle of everyone and I'm like, anyone have any questions? Anyone need any help? And they're all just going. And it was by session 3, that was not my expectation. I'm just really proud of our kids. I mean, it's not, for those of you who knit or crochet, it's not an easy skill. It's a lot of hand-eye coordination. It's tiny, like they can get really frustrated, but you know, everyone who has joined so far of the 20 kids has done nothing but persevere and try again and again. So I know some of you do have students who are in it and you've probably seen already what they've created. And I really hope that this can continue to be something that stays around at NPE. So that's kind of all I have for today. But if anyone has any questions.
A lot of awesomeness and emotion that you brought to that. Thank you.
Of course.
You've got big feelings, we saw it.
Yeah, I do.
Thank you very much for all that you're doing with that. Great.
Thank you.
And I love the community idea, you know. Maybe next year we all wear red for Lunar New Year, or, you know, green for Eagles, or, you know, there's so many different ways that we could incorporate things like that. Spelling on the field.
Yeah,
Concrete girl.
This came together. All this is Trudy, this is Joe. They came to me like yesterday. I said, you could do it? They were, yeah, and then boom, done.
Well, it's brilliant. Thanks, only that they wrote the letters on the field, which got everybody. We were wondering.
They didn't share the tricks with me. They did, we got it.
Really?
It's great.
It's important to note that I found out that Mrs. Wren took the picture from the roof, and she is scared of heights. So I'm like,
And a Cowboys fan.
but to talk about like taking one for the team, like I don't know many people who are scared of heights or climb on a roof. Yeah, they know. Yeah, really love this game.
We do really have that.
I do think that more series are a great idea. I am, however, concerned about even 1 or 2 kids not having access to that because of friends of resources, lack of communication, anything like that. So I would love to discuss some way whether it's each teacher who wants to have a supply of things. Like if someone tells me it's crazy hair day and can I go, you know, we could have things that could help 5 kids out with crazy hair and it's done. I will, you know. So I do want to do these sorts of things. But
I'm gonna call it, that's a student council, actually. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think, calling it out, like, we don't have the coordination right now.
that staff and in the moment, so I would imagine that the staff and faculty know our families and know our students so well, can actually predict and have things ready as well.
And they can, but you know, if Mrs. Dunby tells me, you know, pack of pipe cleaners, with 10 pounds of pipe cleaners, great, on big hair day, like that.
Yeah, anytime, it's like anytime you think, like you.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. I cannot hear anyone and haven't for like the last minute and a half. I didn't want to interrupt.
But we do, a lot of the teachers are actually canvas for the class. I can't say we have systematically where it used to be, but like even today, like I knew, and we had a couple of new students brought it up.
And you.
And I knew, yeah, so every Jersey I had my closet, I came in this morning, it's expectation.
I just feel like it's something I would.
But it is something where we are aware, so you're.
And like how it's in the parents.
But that's the thing, like, if we think of it, and like, we could obviously put the call out on social media or put it in the e-blast, like, we need pipe cleaners, everybody, if you have pipe cleaners, send them in. And then Foreman's gonna be, you'll have more pipe cleaners, whatever, people know what to do with. It was just,
And I'm happy to get rid of my kids' stuff too.
Well, I was gonna just say that in addition to this more exploratory program, it is like the kids have deeply expressed interest in, and I think this also comes from STEM Club happening too, like wanting to build with alternative materials. For those of you who saw the craft that we did for Halloween, where we did the STEM craft, where all of the grades partnered together and made Halloween monsters, that really blew through my supplies. I mean, so many people donated bottle caps and things like that. I will probably be reaching out more about just continued donations. So luckily we have a lot of cardboard boxes that come in and out of the office, just being a school and getting so much like incoming like supplies and paper and things like that. But for smaller things like paper towel rolls, toilet paper rolls, things like that, which I know sustainability and art really can go hand in hand. And so I would love to partner with people to kind of get the word out, or even if you guys are just like, here, take my trash, I will probably take it and kids will make it into beautiful artwork.
We'll clean out my house.
Great.
Could that be like committee or like have a point person from the PTO, so that. I don't know.
are you volunteering?
One option could be communicating earlier, maybe with, I'm putting it Jeff, but you could do the Facebook page. So it could even be as simple as, hey, we're planning on whatever X activity in 2 weeks. If you have extra, feel free to submit. That might be a good part of that.
And I do try to reach out to some of the teachers like who's sending me and say, you put together a Amazon wish list even, or a wish list of what you want, we can absolutely put that out. But like Miss Goldman had an Amazon wish list last year. We fulfilled some of that, but we also put that to the community and said, hey, if you want to buy a book for the library, you can do so. So I feel like we do have some communication, but there is not much follow-up and things like that, for sure. So
I feel like it has my mind, like, oh, all of a sudden you gotta work. These kids don't have it, but the teachers are aware,
But it's not just,
if I can run in with two green t-shirts and hand them to Mrs. Barbarelli, I will. And I think too, to Vanessa's point, like, we don't want to create extra work. Like, we recognize how much they have on their plate and how amazing and wonderful they are. So if there's anything that we can do to help with that.
Great. Well, then we'll move into committee updates. So, we'll start with
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Adults, which I know.
Hillary, the economy of America.
Data Across America is going, can I ask you to come close to the, yeah, all right. You don't have to stand in front of us like this, but just closer to the microphone. I know, it's quiet, right? Is this all right? Others close enough? So Read Across America is going along very well. We have 20 reading rooms. There are not 20 readers because there's a bunch of readers who are pairing up. We have teachers, we have Principal Heinley, we have Miss Benamy who's going to read this year. We have some retired teachers coming back. We have some members of the community. We have someone from the Garden City Fire Company who's going to come read. We have Miss Laura Smith from the library. We have Silly Joe, who's like a singer and a fun figure in the community. She wrote a book and has a CD, so he's going to come and read all sing in this room. So we have yeah, so we have a lot of great readers set up, and a garage full of books. So we are doing really well with donations, we have it out on swap, we have it out on the field pages, and we're gonna do book sorting next week, and I'll know a little bit better where we stand, but I feel like I feel like we're doing really well on books. Just put out the call for volunteers last night, got find seniors out for people to help, and I actually already have a really good response to that, so I'm feeling good, but if people want to help, the sign up seniors is out there.
I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about that, so I was looking at that today, there's a couple of things, door decoration, can you elaborate on that? And then also, just what you spoke to me about, like, for volunteers, for room readers, like, just making sure, like, they know that things with our own children, just, you could bring up a couple of those, just so that it's like a lot of transparency around what the roles.
Absolutely, and I kind of didn't want to put so much
Yeah.
in the kind of thing, it was overwhelming people, I think it's enough, then I can pick that group of people and talk to them. Door decorating.
What was it? It was like
Door prizes, door prizes, it was door prizes, so kids come in costume, then they get a third book, and so I just need to be able to stand at the table by the front door, and if he comes in with a costume, we'll just usher them that way, and they.
Okay.
I thought they were decorating the doors, like the teachers were gonna.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Maybe that was worded wrong.
Okay,
Sometimes I
that's how
do
I-
this stuff late at night, so I'll just go back.
We don't know anything about it.
Never look at the time I send emails. So I'll go back and reword that,
That's helpful.
complete name, and then we'll
Just like if you're a room, if you volunteer to be a room volunteer.
So the one
Keep in
big
mind,
thing that I've been saying about volunteers is every child needs to have a parent supervise them, so I would love you to volunteer, but please don't volunteer if it means your kid is running around without anybody to stay with them, like it's more important to stay with your kid. If not, so room monitors, you just need to stay in the room with the reader, you count the kids coming in and out. There is one focus that I really like to work on this year, I've noticed in some of the past years, some of the rooms are very heavy, we have some very popular readers, 50 kids in a room, and then some who just aren't as well known, maybe there were like 8 kids in a room, and I want everyone to get a good equal number of readers, so I want the room monitor to kind of make sure that cut it off maybe about 25, and I'm gonna have hall monitors too, who are gonna help usher into the right rooms. Other than that, we have some homework passes for the kids who come to get a homework pass for that night, so room monitors will hand those out. And just kind of keep track of the time for the reader, because the person reading the book isn't necessarily watching the time, so the 5-minute warning. All the jobs are really straightforward and easy. We can sell some food, and you can keep them sell some food afterwards, and you just keep an eye on the book, kids need questions, and we'll have a few activities. We're gonna have a scavenger hunt with book characters around the gym, kind of like they do in the library, if anyone's seen how they do that, with some prizes, and I'm working on the Who Would Win, which they have had in the past. I think a few years ago was Clifford versus Dumbledore. Everybody remembers that. So we lost our Dumbledore. That was some of the journey, but I'm working on Pikachu. So that's going to be a popular character this year. So we have a lot in the works, and we're in a good place. There are more questions that we're fine to.
That was really it.
How many classrooms do you think we'll try, like, I know in the past, it's been like 2 classrooms, like 2 readers you got to see in one night. Are we gonna be able, only 2?
Only them.
Is there an opportunity to potentially ask if the readers are willing to do a virtual, and do something like we did last year, where, because my kids, we watched them all week.
I love that.
It was like, we watched 2 one night and 2 another night, and I know it's a lot on the readers to ask them, but if some of them are willing to maybe do a video that we can then upload onto our website, I think that would be a really nice additional option, to extend it a little bit, and also give the opportunity, because I know my kids are gonna wanna go to all these people, and we're not gonna
There's
be
so
able to
many
do that.
great.
So,
I feel the same way. I'm like, I want to see everybody, and that's a great idea. I love it. I hadn't thought of
We
it.
could do it 2 ways. We could have the room monitor simply record it,
yeah,
but that would take me, it'll take me some time to get it done. Or, or if you could ask them to just do an iPhone camera video or whatever. For the practice read at home.
or email it to PTO secretary, and then she can put them. You could even have them up that morning on the website.
Background.
Yeah.
That probably would be better.
Yeah. That's a good
So, I
idea.
mean, and obviously not everyone's going to be able to or willing to put in the extra video, but at least then we have some. And then maybe if it's up that morning, I say, oh, I see Mr. Heinley recorded one, so maybe instead of going to Mr. Heinley's classroom right now, we can go see, you know, Silly Joe, who might not have one.
And whoever wants to wait and let it be like.
You could, and we
maybe
could
the next
usually
one.
do that too, yeah.
But I love
But
it.
I like the idea of at least having.
We could do a few. I mean, certainly some of us could do a Zoom. If you put that's how we did it. We recorded on Zoom, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So I could have the room monitor, set it up, you know, right on the side. So I think we could do, not everyone, but I think we could do a few, for sure.
That's great. That makes it more accessible to
Right.
people who can't come and to people with disabilities who might find it too overwhelming. And we do have a sensory friendly room this year. We're moving forward with that. So I'm working with Maria Thomas, she's kind of our consultant on that, but we plan to have a room where, so there's going to be one reading. The timing for the kids who would prefer to come into the sensory friendly room will be slightly off. So they won't be in the hallways at the same time as all the other kids. And so they're gonna do one reading a little bit early, and then they have like 20 minutes or so in the gym to browse the book. While everyone else is in their second reading, they can have it just themselves without all of that craziness. If they want to stay longer, that's great, and if they want to have like 20 minutes, then they'll worry. We're in a good place to move forward with the sensory. That's awesome. Thank you, Helen. Now, one question are all the rooms and the volunteers and set and what they're gonna be reading. So I have 3 people who haven't been reading a book. One of which is the Garden City Guide, somebody came on like 2 days ago. I had emailed them a month ago, and then 2 days ago, they were like, oh, we're gonna. So there's just a few, so there's 3 books we don't know. I have generally placed everybody in a room, but I haven't solidified it yet. And then there's no things doing.
Well, so maybe this is something we can consider, for next year, Green Cross America, if we have a bilingual room. Or a room that is dealing, I think the volunteers read 2 books, is that correct?
I think they read one twice. So there's 2 readings that they'll read.
Oh, okay, so that bilingual room could be something different in the sense that they could do a shorter book and do it in English and another language, whether it's Spanish or Mandarin or any of the many languages that are spoken from families for NPE. That would be one way, or you just do it in the English other than, or the language other than English, but either way. So maybe for next year, we could have that on the agenda. Thank you. You're catching me in a good moment.
Well, and then either teachers or maybe the former who are like really good in their language. Like Tracy. Yes, that's right. But BPS students who want to NPE and they are really great at speaking French and like go back and forth or yeah.
That'd be really fun.
Which
There's
is,
a lot to work on.
which is a great idea too, I think, I don't know how many of our families in elementary.
Oh, maybe not French, but I mean, they
like
also
another-
know standard. Maybe not French, but.
Yeah, maybe not.
Foreign language, yeah.
Yeah, whatever it looks like, it would be wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, you take care of you.
All right, next up,
We'll move on to STEAM night.
Steam Night.
Thank you, and Larry.
A quick update on Steam Night, it's March 23rd. I think a sign up genius is forthcoming. And for those that haven't been to it before, we're able to return in person last year. And so we set up different stations and experiments. The kids have a sheet that they kind of work through for that. It's in the gym and in the hallways. And so similar to Read Across America, kind of like allowing families to be in the school. I think that was, yeah. One. No, the sign up genius is coming, so kind of be on the lookout for that, either for volunteers to help kind of just crowd control in some ways, and we're actually playing the safety stations. Anyway, any questions based upon that brief update?
I love this, that makes that first night back. last year. It was our first in-person event. Last year, and it was really well done.
So the next, we have teacher appreciation, which we also want to put on the radar, that's the first week in May. Erica has volunteered to head that. And then I know myself and Sarah, who were on the committee last year, have also agreed to help out with that.
We need more help though.
Yeah.
So if anyone's interested in doing fun things, you can just do the fun stuff. I'll do the non-fun stuff. I need help for all of it. We all do.
Yeah, it really is all fun. I have to
Let me
say,
know.
it's a fun week.
We got together and would like put together little things and.
Yeah, we would meet and
drink
then,
wine.
you know, have a beverage of any sort and just talk about the week. We would each pick a day, you know, in the past, we've had one day where we given teachers a brunch or a lunch. And then one day, we always have something like really cute and corny that we say, you know, like,
That's to help our kids grow.
yeah, thanks for our kids
You're
grow.
officially the best.
Officially the best with Swedish fish and like a Wawa gift card. Just something different every day. And so it's fun and they so appreciate it. You know, that's why the flowers involved. They really, really appreciate it. And so it's cool to come up with something fun and creative and, even thinking of themes, you know, again, speaking to all of the culture and diversity of our schools, it's really cool to do like a international food theme one day, or maybe have, you know, for families, for families and shit, I don't know, but there's just so many cool ideas, so it's a fun thing, so if anyone wants to get involved, yeah, let me know, let Erica know. For sure. It's the first week in May.
It's, I looked it up. I'm assuming we're using the calendar like the rest of the country. Or
Yeah, I'm
teacher
sorry.
appreciation week. So Monday, May 8th, the week of Monday, May 8th, the first day.
I might have looked it up.
Okay, open another week.
Fun, exactly. Exactly. But thank you for heading that up. But yeah, if anyone wants to get involved, it's really, it's a easy fun. Next, we're gonna real quick touch on fifth grade committee, that has gotten off to a great start. We have, everything's really planned. I don't know, did everyone get your emails about fifth grade? Or was that just fifth grade? Okay, so, May 18th, we're gonna go to Washington DC. That's the big trip this year for fifth graders. The finite details aren't quite out yet, but it looks like it's gonna be great. We have the annual graduation celebration, Creekside pool party, dance. That is all three schools that come together. So that's a lot of fun. And, yeah. And so we're really excited about that this year, but, if you, I don't think anyone here has fifth graders don't want to say, so. But, you know, if you talk to anyone and they have a fifth grader, let them know, they can reach out to us. We also will be circulating a QR code for fifth grade donations. If anyone wants to donate, I was speaking to Principal Heinley. The PTO does gift money to the fifth grade every year. So the additional funds we raise not only goes to some of those events that we put on, but it also, it helps us offset the costs for families for the trip. You know, for families who maybe need some extra support to be able to send their children on the trip. So, yeah, we expect to do that around some of the events. We expect to have the Read Across America unite. And I did just quickly want to also touch on what Crochet Club reminded me. Girls on the Run officially starts the week of February 27th. That is up and running. We're so excited. I just got back from the training last weekend. Just future for you all, if you don't have a third, fourth, or fifth grader yet. Curriculum is so awesome. It's just amazing. It's like socio-emotional, skill set, friendship building, some running, walking, skipping, jumping, hopping, or rolling, they said. Like, your girl does not have to be super athletic. It's okay. It ends in a 5K. It's just, it's really, really cool. So, and we actually have some coaches that don't even have a third, fourth, or fifth grade girl. They're still coaching. So if anyone, if that's something for future years it's interested in, put that on your radar. It sounds like it's gonna be a really cool program.
And then registration for that is absolutely. full.
It's, I mean, the GOTR rules, GOTR, is that they're never gonna close it. So if someone did want to
Or
register,
like if a certain daughter in the country has changed her mind and wants to.
yeah. Yeah. We had such a great response. I think we had 18 girls that signed up, and we had 8 coaches. And the ratio is like 3 coaches per 60. So I mean, yeah, we have enough parents to help out.
That's awesome, because usually it's the reverse.
Yeah, it's not, we had so many.
That's
so many
awesome.
people
Wonderful.
to help. And, there is a registration fee with that, but if anyone is needing a financial aid assistance, they can note that. They're really amazing with working with that. Every girl gets a T-shirt and money for a party, for a celebration party that we can give to them, and their curriculum and the increase the 5K. So again, it's really a neat program. So I just wanted to touch on that.
Any questions on this? All right. Last committee update is just on Mayfair. So this is, note that this is going to be an in-school event on Friday May 26th. With the rain date of June 2nd. The classes will go out either single or in pairings like K 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of working out the details on that, but it'll be during the class. What we need is chair, co-chair, committee, humanities. There's nobody that's actually volunteered for this event yet. And so it will be, Betty's actually just reached out to last year's spring fest. So they're interested in kind of figuring out, with like working on the contracts, figure out what bounce house, obstacle course type thing. Any of the games that the group is doing. We'd like to bring Mama Duke to be able to give the kids a treat coming out, and then just kind of coordinating the volunteers, this time of year. So definitely think this is one of those things where like many hands can work, so there's your presence. We don't put all the pressure on the folks in the room here, but if you do have interest, I think we can get 3, 4 people, to take one of these things. It will be relatively, so.
And Caitlin have a lot of expertise in these areas, so I'm sure you'd be a valuable resource. I'd be happy to consult. For anyone, so it's not like you're on your own, you know. And we have a buddy, it's different than field day. Yeah, it is.
Because we help provide, I mean, field day is all Mr. B. We just, with this, we help supply the different. So it's like Spring Fest, but not for the community.
Yeah, whereas field day, they're competing and
Yeah.
things, this is just fun.
Yeah.
But that's not. But
And I think if I calculations are correct, field day is May 12th, and rain date of May 7th. So it's kind of like a Friday on, a Friday off. Unless it's been rain.
And if you know of anyone who might be interested in doing one of these with you, you know, buddy up. Or a hailstorm.
So then
I'm
moving
thinking
on
about
to. Sure. I give update on camp fair. We have camp fair on Saturday in the gym. We had 25 camps that showed up, so 28 camps that signed up. So people were able to get that. Justice was absolutely phenomenal getting it on the website and on Facebook promoting them, and we had 400 visitors come through the gym and later. This is the website or Facebook. A lot of people.
There's
to the
like
website.
3,000 to Facebook and 1,100 to the website.
Yeah, so, one of the things I did hear from many of the camps there, if you're kind of considering your summer care options, is that they're filling up. So that would be my advice to you. Child care over the summer. Check out the website that has all the resources there. And thanks to Ally for getting volunteers and organizations together. It was our first year back. The last few years we've done it virtually, so I do think it was a good success. I think there's some room for opportunities to grow a little bit, but the fact that it was slightly smaller than years past, I think it gave a little bit of breathing room. It was successful, and then we should net 2,500-ish on it, which is a little low on the stuff, but
One of the suggestions that, I don't know if we shared it or not. Somebody had mentioned that maybe in next year, I don't know who's gonna share it next year, but, maybe just in the notes that, some people were saying it would be great to have an opportunity, since they're all here, to maybe if those who are hiring teams would stay an extra half hour later or an hour later, they could do like a team job fair for camp counselors or helpers and things like that. They've already paid, they're already there. So then you just open it up after, 4 o'clock or, that's when 4 to 5 teams could come in and maybe apply for jobs or interview on the spot or things like that. So. That's a good idea.
I will note. Like everything is packed up.
I'm sure, but if they know that there's an opportunity to potentially hire some people for their camp if they need it, and they have an audience.
Yeah.
They might consider staying an extra half hour, and that's why I'm saying, like, even just 30 minutes of like, this is an opportunity, like a job fair.
Yeah.
For teenagers or college students who might be home to maybe try to find some summer employment.
You can always find a way to know it on the website or something.
And I don't know if there's any opportunity, but maybe moving camps that are somewhere on the calendar a couple of weeks.
Not a couple weeks. Yeah, it's impossible. We can get to there. But we heard from several saying like, we told me that earlier. And I was like, I probably need to do that. A week. Yeah, there's like, we thought like, do it.
Yeah, sometimes already.
I know. But it's gonna be, be a couple weeks. I think.
Yeah.
That forced the hand of them.
Well, I wonder if we could do, like, start talking about it with camps and sending information out in December. And then do, like, if you, like, you can set up for an online only option and we put it on our website of this is an option for camp, but they won't be at the camp fair. But their registration opens January 5th. And then this way people see that Making Music opens early, so I'm gonna make sure I get on there earlier, but they paid for the advertisement for that.
Like, honestly, the camp will fill up, with the exception of creative listeners, they don't bother. Because they don't need to advertise it.
Okay. I mean, it's just another option that they might be able to do for next year.
Yeah.
Something like this online. Huh?
Yeah, it is. So. All right, and then, yeah, I was taking a look. So old business, and I know we're running long here, old business, just wanted to like revisit playground committee that was mentioned at the last meeting, so an interest and an acknowledgement that we get a group of people together, we're probably willing to take a longer term project, like multiple years, take a look at the playground, consider what fundraising opportunities are. It likely would be PTO supported, but not PTO led. So if that's something that's like of interest to you, that you would want to be part of the committee, you could let us know. We'll start kind of like pulling together some of those names, but I think until we kind of have some critical mass of people that are really interested in driving it, it's going to kind of continue to be an old business district. So.
Never let it be. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of suggestions, like reaching out to Nate Kruger, who did the one on, at the summit, which I was at today. Talking to Christina Costanza, who does grants for playgrounds, but these are great suggestions, but we need people to do them. And, it is going to be more than just the next couple of months or next year, because it's going to straddle a little bit.
And
So-
particularly, if we like, frankly, if we don't have a volunteer from right there, and I'm the one doing that, like, I can't get that. So, I think it's just like an acknowledgement of
Like, if
the
somebody,
number of people we have in this room that are doing what we can do, taking one more project to the PTO.
And also, which is leading into in a couple points, our next topic before we close, half of us aren't gonna even be on the PTO next year. Because it's our time is up, we're moving on. So if we start a playground committee that's PTO started and we're not in PTO, so we need it to be a committee who's gonna be committed to
Well,
it.
just like the point out, you're still gonna be able to
But
but not exactly, not exactly, yeah.
I think part of the concern on some of these things is like, they don't wanna share it, they don't wanna leave it alone. So I think it's like, if we can start to create some critical mass of people that are interested in pulling people together, and that there's like a village that is doing this, I think it would make a difference. For this, and then as like, kind of like sliding to new business too, the big idea that we wanna consider is like with PTO funding right now, if we can purchase a shade, some shade for the playground, more immediately separate from kind of like an overhaul of everything. So I think that's something that will come forward in the next month or two, to kind of figure forward. So I do think like that's an investment that, you know, can take on. Because it's,
Anyone who's tiny has slid down that slide. Okay. Yeah, we just.
But I feel like that's how this, you know, what we're discussing on how to set this up, kind of like how fifth grade committee has kind of split into, there's 3 subcommittees or 4 subcommittees, and each committee is taking their own tasks. And if a playground committee comes together like that, and it's like, oh, these 2 people are gonna reach out and look for grant opportunities, these 2 people are gonna reach out and find out how caves and, you know, other playground people have done it. You know, one person's gonna go get quotes, so it's kind of splits up the work, but they have to work together. And,
that's because you know who did some of that planning as well.
No,
I'm sorry.
Here's just
but I mean, do we have full autonomy over that? We should get those in the ground.
The other part of the conversation, right?
we would work with that, and then we would be able to work, Mr. Hanley had said, you know, we can work with operations meetings with them and really find out what their role is and what our role is, because this is, you know, we would have to raise the funds for it, but they would have to install it.
We can't install ourselves.
I would love that, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, as long as it gets approved, the OSHA comes by and says it's good, right? It should be all right.
So I don't know all the ins and outs, but I know that the construction project, the district uses mixed really like the engineer for insurance purposes, like certain equipment has to be X amount of feet. So it's hard to me, John. Yeah, like I said, I don't know the ins and outs.
And I'm sure there's union rules.
Yeah, I just know.
Engineer anything.
Yeah, I just, I don't know if he has a contract in the district and, that's what we did. Anything that happens with the playground, for safety, that's the.
No, of course, obviously want to get it
Right.
approved.
And then, I do believe it was the district, it's going back many years, but that would be the process. That would be one of the first steps actually, would be to present to operations who would then pass it on and make sure that what we're thinking can actually be accomplished. Like if we're doing it over the equipment, if we do it over the swings, I can't imagine there's too much of a problem, but depends on what we're thinking.
All right, I'll do it.
You will do it.
I'll do it. Yeah, I'm gonna pass this was doing no comments for that day. I'm good.
Shannon, I know what you made there.
We like
Abba.
to show us off.
Erica and Ally, we started by introducing ourselves and then saying what our favorite Girl Scout cookie was before you came in. Ally, do you have a favorite Girl Scout cookie?
You like them all? Yeah.
Oh, me. What's your favorite? What's mine? Oh, frozen thin mint. With our PTO night.
Thank you. That will make a big difference.
It's a really
Thank you.
really
Tasty
productive.
cookies.
All right, let me, a couple more things just for old business or new business. Just we mentioned that there are 4 of us that are officially rolling off for executive committee positions. And so the positions that will be open next year are 2 vice chairs, and that's because Sarah and Caitlin, as the current vice chairs, roll up into the chair positions, the chair positions. And so the vice chair is essentially a 2-year commitment where you be the vice chair and then roll up to the chair, co-chair. The secretary position will be open, but that says upon us that she will be available to help and train on all the, and so the responsibilities for the secretary are communications, taking minutes to blast the social media. I also think that that's something that could be maybe based as well, and then be like a huge advantage. And then the first thing treasurer is the last, so that's what we had, which is that working with our budget, keeping track of money that's coming in and out. Ally will continue to be the receiving treasurer. So this table here is carrying on the board, this transaction here will become members. And the job descriptions are on the website if you want to take a look at it. Feel free to ask any of those questions. It really has been a very rewarding job to be involved, and it's great. I know that it's great people that you'll be working with, so please let us know. Elections will be in April, so next month in March, we'll open up nominations especially, and look for those volunteers.
And you officially take your role officially start in July.
In July, yeah.
So even though, what's that audition? Election, our April is what, June is like an entire transition month where the board works with you on what the role entails, communicate everything. And it is really nice to come in as a vice chair. I think we can all agree that that's probably, other than the receiving treasurer, like one of the easier roles. It's really just supporting for us. The board. So, you know, any questions? You know anyone?
But we're not going to wait. So we'll all figure it out. We already got all the volunteers we need.
Equity.
Yeah, with the next meetings in March, April, and May, we're considering maybe one or two of those months moving the meetings to a Tuesday or Thursday. So I just need to kind of check to see the March calendar. We were going to do it with February and keep March as Wednesday, but we decided that was not enough notice. So we'll get it out as early as possible and set the calendar for the rest of the month. But try to get like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday over the next 3 meetings, just so that allows for people to come. And apologies if that prevents you from coming, but the intent is to find some feedback to have some different nights.
If you have a safe sporting event, if you work late, certain nights, it's hard for you to get here. I mean, like the things that a little bit more start that around. And hopefully if that works and everyone's happy with that, it'll continue into the next year.
If someone were to be nominated for the board, do they have to be present if that night doesn't work for them to be voted on? So like if it's on a Thursday and somebody's like, I can't do Thursdays, but I want to be on the board next year.
Well, I remember somebody forgot to go to the meeting, like she was elected at the.
Virtual is the border.
And then there's
Okay, I just figured I'd put that out there too, if somebody's still interested, but then they see that they can't make that one.
Yeah.
meeting.
any last thoughts or questions?
I went up for Friday happy hour meeting.
Maybe that could be a, action that I think you're thinking about.
Never did that social night either.
Yeah, someone did bring up the idea of an adult social. I'm trying to convince that person to share that event. Because we were gonna do one for back to school night, I never panned out. And so I think we'd like to do it in the spring, we can get the, give her.
Anyone has ideas or?
I know SRS did theirs at bottom, but
Yeah.
I'm a member of the whole, so you can, yeah. You do it on Zoom. That's why I don't know.
That'll be fun.
Well, I don't think that we as PTO can decide. Alright. Yeah, we would just. We could do like.
Years ago, it was a really great
But I don't
fundraiser
think
at the
that.
firehouse, wasn't it?
That's the firehouse was all flying. Here's fair.
That's what it's called, Spirits of Fair. I was there. I was there.
I'm gonna pause this for a minute. Motion to adjourn.
And it's like. Second.
All right, all in favor? All right, thank you for staying later, and let's continue the conversation. But I want to-